The movie The Uglies just premiered on Netflix, and it's based off of the young adult dystopian teen novel series from back in the early 2000s. I used to read that book series back then, and I was surprised that they decided to turn it into a movie because this book series came out way before the whole teen dystopian trend book thing that started going on after that. So this is kind of like the OG a little bit. This was like a good 7 or 8 years before like the Hunger Games. So when I found out that Netflix was finally turning it into a movie, I was like, oh my God, what took so long for this movie to finally come out? And now that it's out and I watched it, all I can say is I got some things to say. So for those who are not familiar with the books or have never read them before, it's by Scott Westerfield, and it's about a girl named Tally Youngblood. Interesting name. She lives in this futuristic dystopian future type of society where everyone, when they turn age 16, have to go and get a surgery type of operation done to become pretty. Before that surgery, you're considered ugly. And once you do become pretty, and you get the surgery done, you then go from living in this dorm situation, this gray, ugly dorm situation, and get to move across the bridge to this high, luxurious, fancy type of like utopian paradise city. I always think of like that level in Herb's Sims in a City called Diamond Heights. It always reminded me of like that. But yeah, New Pretty Town is where you go after you get the surgery. And it's something that everyone wants. They love it. They can't wait to get it done. And when you're in New Pretty Town, you get to wear these luxurious designer clothes, party with all these really pretty people, dancing and singing and partying, and everything is lit up and all these fireworks every single night. And I'm just like, that sounds horrible. I would literally hate the idea of being at a place like that. Just all the constant people and the noise and no type of nature at all. Like, it sounds like a nightmare. I don't see how anyone can see that and be like, ooh, I can't wait to have that. Like, no, that sounds like horrible to me. Maybe it's because I'm becoming more and more introverted, but it's just like too much. Like fireworks every night. Dang. But apparently Tally really wants it, and everyone else there too. And she becomes friends with this girl named Shay, who decides that she doesn't want to get the surgery. And Shay runs away. The government finds out about it, and they convince Tally to go and bring her back. So that is the plot of the story of Uglies. Now, first off, with the movie, I will admit it seems a little bit like dated or outdated with how it was, shown. Like a very similar vibe to the other teen dystopian movies from the past. But I don't know, something about the very beginning just seemed very cringy. They were just giving this like monologue of the speech trying to catch everyone up to the story for those who have never read the book. And I kind of don't like it when movies do that, because it's kind of like spoon feeding you the story rather than assuming that people are smart enough to like find that out for themselves, or at least doing a better job of show don't tell type of storytelling. Apparently a lot of the people who saw this movie, when showing who the uglies were, Tally and everyone else, they were just like, uglies where? These people are very conventionally attractive, and they are not ugly to begin with, which I get it for those who haven't read the books. So people who are ugly are not actually like ugly. They're just people who haven't gotten the surgery yet. So when you get the surgery, you're considered pretty because you had that done. Whereas the pretty people look at those who haven't gotten the surgery done, they consider those people ugly. Now, the things about this movie compared to the book, I will say that it was really frustrating watching it sometimes, because what frustrated me was the pacing of the movie. It was way too fast. It was off. It was fast, because it makes no sense. The movie is only an hour and 30 minutes. And just to fit all of that in one movie, they were just going from here to here to there. It was just too quick. There was no time for character building, world building. If they had only just taken their time, maybe give it about like 8 to 10 episodes to go through the whole thing, I feel like that would have been so much better to really get like a good fleshed out story completely, so that way they'll be able to show everything in much better detail and create a much better story. Because to be honest, uglies need that level of depth in order to make sense. And I understand when there's an adaptation from a book to a movie, sometimes those changes need to happen. Things need to be shortened, rearranged in order to make sense in a movie. I do feel like the actors that portrayed Tally and Shay were done really well. Kind of very similar to how I imagined it in the books. With Paris, I don't know. I expected his actor to like look different. Like I know they tried to give him a nose. He's already like a very conventionally attractive person. So I don't know. It just didn't really seem all that believable. The way that they just like, you know, shoved in all the information about his and Tally's friendship so quickly, like we're supposed to care. I don't know. I didn't really care when he changed and they weren't friends anymore because of how fast and quick it was. And with Dr. Cable, I feel like the actress did the best she could with, you know, with the role that was given. But I feel like Dr. Cable's character was a bit better in the books. The actor had more like emotional evil type of impact, really very exploitative in that type of way, whereas like in the movie it was just very like robotic and stiff. Like, we want you to take the surgery. Don't you want to take the surgery? I didn't really care for the character as much in the movie than in the books. And with Shay, she was definitely my favorite character. Really great. I wish they could have, you know, did just a little bit more character development and fleshed out her story more. Basically with everyone in the story, she did a really good job, and I like how she was portrayed in this movie. Now, in terms of the things about the movie that I think they did a great job with is definitely the visual setting of everything. Just the way everything looks, I feel like was done amazing. Just exactly like how I envisioned it when reading the book, especially when you see like the dreary, gray, dull dorms overlooking the view of the new pretty town across the bridge. That was done so well. It really makes you think about what these kids see every day, looking out over there, seeing something that they want that they can't have, something so cool. You know, it really gives off that whole the grass is greener on the other side and just makes them want it even more. And the dorms look, even though futuristic, still looks very dull and drab in comparison. And the whole place just, you know, looks very dystopian and futuristic. There was a part where she was like, where she chewed on a capsule that brushed her teeth for her. Huh? I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm just so worried about how lazy society is going to be getting in the future. That's really terrible. And the way the new pretty town looked, also just like how I imagined it in the books, very big, and the city is gorgeous, similar to Diamond Heights, how I always thought about it. Very bright, futuristic, somewhere where a lot of people would love to live. I don't want to live there. Would I ever live there? Heck no. But a lot of other people, I can see why they would want to because of how great it's portrayed in the movie. And the way that they showed the pretties in this movie, how the pretties look, I always wondered how they were going to do that, and I feel like they did a pretty good job. They looked very, you know, very glammed up. Everyone has this like glam look, and I was kind of expecting a little more of like a distorted type of like too much plastic surgery kind of look, that everyone looks kind of like, you know, Barbie Ken doll, but it's more like everyone has like a very mostly just like glam look to them, and like they were all had this like forever filter on them. Oh my God, when Tally looked at her filter, her beauty filter, didn't she look just like Lucy Hale? The exact same. I was literally like, is that Lucy? Aria? The way they portrayed the smoke too, I love the whole, you know, contrast between the new pretty town and smoke, showing the nature of it all, this tight-knit community that's friendly. Everything is just very much like real and natural and authentic because of how everyone treats everyone there and how you're able to live more free and you're not controlled by society standards. I could see myself living there, even though I absolutely am just like the worst when it comes to dealing with bugs. But I would definitely choose that over the other place any day. Honestly, I'd like to see a second movie, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It seems kind of unlikely because there was absolutely basically no marketing for this movie. No one's really watching it. I wouldn't be surprised if no one even watched this video about it. And most people who already read the books are unhappy with how the movie portrayed it. And for those who haven't read the books, they're unhappy with just the story in general. The whole pretty ugly thing, the whole teen dystopian thing was 10 years ago, and don't really care to see another movie about that. So honestly, in my unpopular opinion, I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was terrible or horrible at all. Yeah, there were some flaws here and there, but overall, I really enjoyed seeing this book come to life in the movie. So I think Uglies is a decent watch as long as you keep your expectations very low. I didn't hate it. It was okay, but there is just some wasted potential. I feel like with a different director and with a little bit better of a script and a longer running time, it would have made more sense for the story and it could have been amazing. But hey, you know, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours. Have you seen the movie? What do you think about it? Let me know down below.